Today I'm showing you my rogue build because not only does it delete everything but max level pits in season 5, and who does max level pits, but it's actually going to gain more power in season 6 with the additional paragon because we don't use many paragon boards. So not only does this build delete everything, but it's going to be gaining more power in season 6. Do want to start with the gear. So this build, like I said, my friend already has the build min-maxed. He just spent a shit ton of money just farming gear and buying his rolls, and he can hit for 90 billion. This, as you see here, can get it procs on standard enemies a lot of times for a couple billion. 2 billion is generally the most consistent number of the billions fighting enemies that are not stunned, and then while they're stunned, it's hitting a couple times for 10 billion plus, and generally the rest of the hits are a couple billion, 4 billion, 5 billion, 8. It varies, but it hits basically that hard in its current state that I'm going to show you. Min max, once again, you'll be hitting for about 90 billion. So for your helmet, you definitely want Endurio's Visage. We want to cap the attack speed. There are 2 brackets, not going to get into all of it. All you need to know is we're attacking as fast as we can. So here is how you get to that point. You want 2 on the attack speed and your master working. Your last one, hopefully it doesn't go to maximum poison resistance, because that just does you no good. Ideally though, all stats would be your best choice. This is a god rolled masterwork for Endurio's Visage, and that is how we're getting all the damage. And if you really want to get crazy with it in season 6, you can probably change these maximum lives over to dex too, because you should be able to still survive, and if need, bring the Doombringer. But time will tell on if you can get a little bit more damage out of that as well. I don't think it's really needed, but just wanted to note that real quick. So the god roll for Teriel's Might is maximum resistance 2. That's going to cap us at 84.6 on everything but poison, and give poison the true cap at 85. So we're basically rocking 85 resistance for all elements. Very tanky, especially when we're capped 100% of the time on our damage reduction. If you don't know why, I'll get into that in a moment. So, god roll for Teriel's Might, in my opinion, for this build is movement speed. Movement speed, we're going to also cap at in battle at 200%. Now, for your Fist of Fate, the GA Greater Affix White Star needs to be on lucky hit chance for this gauntlet to be good. So, until you get one that has the white star on the lucky hit chance, just use a standard roll and what you think is best, because I don't have that information at the moment. What you do want eventually is the Fist of Fate. God roll would have the star on the bottom one as well. That would allow you to stun bosses insanely fast, but it's not needed to do super good damage. All you really need is the lucky hit chance. Honestly, the bottom, your random attacks, doesn't even matter either. It'd be nice if it was high, but it doesn't really matter for your high damage. All that's really mattered, once again, is lucky hit chance, and then if you get the other 2, that's great. So yeah, go for lucky hit chance, and then go for master working on it. Ideally, you would want all the master working on the lucky hit chance. Next, for our pants, we want dex, maximum life, and armor. We do need to add the armor in at some point. We are going to put it in on the legs. Now, a god roll would be, we would get the chance to freeze. Stun is your second best. Now, in season 6, we're only going to have 3 choices, and I would bet they're going to keep stun and freeze and remove probably slow, or the other one. In any case, I would bet they're keeping stun and freeze, which would give you a 2 out of 3 chance. Very good chance to land that, because we do need to land second wind. Now, you don't need, but if you want a tanky survivability build that you can also have a lot of fun with doing massive damage, you do need that second wind. That's a lot of defense. That's doubling your life right there. Doubling your life plus 99.5% of the time you're in battle. If you can get the plus 2 on the second wind and then masterwork that into a plus 6, that's just insane health right there. Especially if we get the more Paragon points in Season 6, and especially if you do my alternate recommendation of where to add extra health for the build. So definitely get the second win there. And so we always have Dark Shrouds, and because of our lucky hit chance, okay, so you have no Dark Shrouds. You go into battle 1.5 seconds, 5 Dark Shrouds. You ever lose a Dark Shroud, you're instantaneously, basically next hit, instantaneously getting that 5th Shroud. You should always have 5 Shrouds, and just for a fraction of a second have 4 Shrouds while in battle. So we don't need that in our skill bar. This gives us infinite 5 Dark Shrouds. Really nice. One of the best defensive ones we got right there. So we're going to take Dex, Maximum Life, and you could take Dodge, but if you take Dodge chance, you're not going to have a cap movement speed. I just like to walk around traps and move as needed if I need to, especially if you wanted to do like a 200 pit, that's kind of needed. So I take the movement speed there. Once again, stun or freeze. I think freeze is ideally the best one you could get. And then I like movement speed. You could get alternatively movement speed to Dark Shroud, and that would cap you at movement speed in battle. You just move a little bit slower in town. Ideally, I like to move fast in town, so I think movement speed is the better one, but both are pretty good. And then take this for bonus damage when bosses are stunned or frozen. Another reason because of that, and one other perk that goes to the frozen as well. That's kind of why I like the lucky hit chance to freeze up there. Moving on to the weapons though. Now here you could add health, especially in Season 6, but I went for all offense. I like Dex damage over time, and vulnerable, but you could put in for one of the additives. Damage is additive, it's not multiplicative. Damage over time is additive, and vulnerable, now if you don't already know, is additive. So it doesn't really matter. You could just take one of the lower ones and put health in its place. Then we have chance for barrage to cast twice. Now this, you want to get to as close to 100 as possible. This is actually kind of the same concept as attack speed. If we're attacking twice in the same moment, we're proccing faster. So this number you do kind of want pretty damn close to 100, if not 100. Mine is 95.1. I took that, especially because I did get the master working on the second best one. So if you do already got yours at 100, or you're already comfortable, like you have a 95, 98, then ideally you want your next master working, if you have one available, to go to damage per Dark Shroud. So best one, chance for barrage, especially in the beginning, so you get close to 100, and then when you got close to 100, you want damage per Dark Shroud. For our weapon, we're going to be taking this affix right here. So we deal 80% increased damage over time while they're stunned. Also be taking the ultimate damage for a bonus in the Paragons. We'll get into that in a moment. Oddly, I did a lot of testing against other weapons which should have outperformed the Ubercrux. And every time in my testing, the Ubercrux, or however you want to pronounce this weapon, outperformed the double, triple, greater affix bow that was also masterworked. I don't know how it does it, and I'm not even taking into account the totem. So just put this on. Obviously, the best start would be vulnerable. Masterwork everything into vulnerable. The other good star is Dex. Honestly, you don't really need a high innervation. You don't need to add anything to it. Just these extra points alone with the lucky hit chance you're going to have is fine. Same concept as the other sword. It's Dex damage over time, damaged, vulnerable. You could replace one with health, get the chance for barrage up to close to 100. Dark Shroud is the next best damage to Dark Shroud. For this, now we're going to be taking this for the toxic pools. We do get poison stacks all over the place. Poison does benefit us in multiple ways as well as stack damage. So this is good. It also gives us infinite poison while standing in one of the pools created. Not really needed if you can roll the poison imbue last +6 casts on the ring, but until that point, this does benefit you 2 ways. Still is good even if you do get this, but that's just like 2 ways you can have infinite poison. Because at 6, with the cooldown that we'll be using, 6 is basically infinite poison when using it, as long as you're hitting enemies. So for the ring, we want Dex, damage over time. Damage over time is a really nice one to have started over here, but lucky hit chance is okay. We have so much at this point, it's not needed. You don't need the lucky hit chance on your ring. It's fine. Another fine one is health over here. Another fine one is the chance to make enemies vulnerable. At that point, you're basically making everything vulnerable 100% of the time. Moving on to the amulet, and I'm going to be telling you what I think is the god roll and also what is the roll that my friend is using, who is currently hitting for 90 billion. So his roll is frigid, malice, and unstable elixirs, and then he masterworked all the ranks into frigid finesse. So he's also, by the way, that 90 billion is on stunned. I think he gets like 15, 20 billion off stun, something like that. But yeah, he runs frigid, malice, and unstable elixirs. He bought all his. I couldn't get that roll. Then we want chance to freeze once again, and damage to dark shroud. And there's a couple of good ones you can use for your affix for the amulet. We have this right here. This is just if you want to go to super damage, because we'll be getting the 45 to the stunned and knockdown. But there is another really good one for just general crowd control. Honestly, the best thing you could have is 2 amulets. One with this affix for crowd control and one for the bonus damage. Kind of what I do right here. Also, I have my Doombringer for when I want to get super healthy. So to do this, we just click one button. Now at the moment, it will swap out the first position. To fix this problem, just put this in the first position, your Umbicrox, because you do want to keep that in the second position, and having a good roll on a Doombringer, in my opinion, either triple on the maximum life or double on the maximum life and one in the all stat, because we don't need the damage reduction, and then you can just become invincible whenever you want. Very easy to just hit start, swap, invincible. And then if you're fighting a boss, you could use this as a swap out as well. But like I showed you, best roll malice, frigid, and unstable elixirs. Put all the ranks into the frigid one, the one for the bonus damage on freeze or stunned enemies. So the ones I like for the forging, masterwork, tempering system, whatever, trap cooldown is really nice if you go with the death trap. Because our ultimate really doesn't matter, this keeps the ultimate timer really low. With our fire rate, we can get it back roughly every 10 seconds, keeping that bonus damage multiplier, which I think we get somewhere around 39. Let's see, double check in a second. We get basically a 39 constant multiplier going with this trap cooldown. Well, that also, I have a little bit extra cooldown reduction on the top, which ideally shouldn't be there. But yeah, this gives you a really reduced timer on the traps, especially next season, because we're going to put ranks in the ultimate, so we'll get a cooldown even further. So once we have that, we'll actually be really able to spam our ultimate, which will be really sweet. Lastly, take the Ring of Starless Skies. For the masterworking, put it all in the lucky hit chance. You don't need attack speed, you're already capped, don't need critical strike chance, and will benefit more from the lucky hit chance than the rank to the core skills. Then we get, because of our rate of fire, we're basically always getting that 50x multiplier and having the reduction on our resources, where when the battle is heavy, we basically just stay at max mana 100% of the time. So Basically, this gives us infinite mana when we need it and bonus damage with more lucky hit chance. It is very nice for what we need to do. Moving on to the skill tree, I'll be showing you how to do this for Season 5 and Season 6. The Season 6 additional 10 points is very easy to add. So, we're going to be taking 2 points over here. For Season 5, you're going to be taking no points in Barrage, just the 1 point so you can get vulnerable. For Season 6, max out Barrage. Put all the points in Barrage. Then for Season 5, you'll just go over here, do Shadow Step into reduce cooldown and vulnerable, take bonus vulnerable damage, take max in unstable elixirs, then take 1 in smoke grenade, take the reduced cooldown. You might think poison's gonna benefit you. No, all the damage comes from lucky hit procs. We don't need poison here. We need it available so we can stun enemies and get 25x bonus damage. So keep it on the cooldown. Next, we're going to be taking the poison trap and taking this into bonus poison damage while standing in the trap. Now, like I said, best 3 for your amulet: Malice, Frigid Finesse, Unstable Elixirs. For putting your ranks into the skill tree, put max ranks into Malice, put max ranks into Exploit, 1 rank into Dark Shroud. With our lucky hit chance, we always have 5 or 4 Dark Shrouds. We don't need additional points in Dark Shroud. We don't need critical hit chance. If we do ever take a hit, it might break our barrier, so we might as well get 10% of our life back every time 1 shroud is removed. You will have shrouds removed. You just attack so fast and have such lucky hit chance that you instantaneously get it back while attacking. So you do have that moment when you have 4, but at least you heal 10%. Next, we're going to be taking 1 rank in here. Like I said, all our damage is poison procs. This it benefits our build. So we got poison right here. Then we get infinite mana also kind of off of this. This helps a lot with our mana, especially when we have the reduced cooldown and the increased rolls or uses on our ring. Next, you're going to be taking maxed ranks in Deadly Venom. You'll be taking max ranks in Akamo Advantage, whatever that was. Take max ranks here, here, and here. Also be taking it here. Now for Season 6, we'll be able to put 5 ranks in Death Trap, which we will be putting 5 ranks in Death Trap. Once we have this cooldown a little bit lower, we should be able to truly, literally spam it every 10 seconds in harder battles, or even possibly even slightly less and under 10 seconds. So right now we can basically spam and keep it up, keep our bonus up almost basically 100% of the time. With 5 ranks though, should be able to definitely do 100% of the time and have our cooldowns really low, since using the ultimate resets the other cooldowns of anything that was on cooldown. So 5 ranks into there actually will benefit us a little nice little bump right there. And then otherwise you put the 3 ranks over here, and then you put your key passive for close quarters, because we benefit for attack speed and we benefit on constantly getting bonus damage. Not really hard at all to keep that up 100% of the time. Moving on to the Paragon board. We're showing you how to do this for Season 5 and Season 6. So, first board we have Control. For Season 6, when you get those bonus points, you'll just be picking up that bonus damage when you get your glyph radius increase. But we have Control for our first glyph on the first board. For all the boards, I will just show you a little bit off the screen for copying and pasting. If you're on Season 6, you can just add in where I recommend, like add in over here, and you can take this damage node as well. If you needed for your current build to cap out for some reason, you could take that armor as well. Otherwise, moving on to the second board, this is going to be the No Witness board, and we're going to be taking Fluidity for our glyph. This is simply for the multiplier. and we get a little bit bonus. Now for season 6, you can add that bonus damage there, you can add that bonus damage there, you get it. Add where is needed. You get a little bit more impairment there, and then otherwise there's not really much more to add points here. Now in season 5, you are going to take this board. You're going to take exploit weakness, and you're going to take it just as I did. For season 6 players, remove all of this because you can't use that board. Now for season 6, I did show this board already. Just once again, for like 2 seconds, going to show the middle board. And moving on, we're going to be taking our next board of Deadly Ambush. And we're going to be using the glyph of Bane. Now, for season 5, you'll just be copying it like this. For season 6 players, this is another board you can add a lot of damage. We have damage to trapped right there. We have damage to trapped right there. I believe even we have trap damage, trap cooldown, and additional trap damage up there. Obviously, these two are better. Believe this glyph with the radius can be a little bit increased, so anywhere it can be increased, take that additional poisoning damage. And moving on for season 5 and 6, we have the cheap shot board, and we're going to be using the glyph tracker. So just show this board as it is for a couple seconds. Now, obviously, once again, for season 6 players, you'll be maxing out this glyph. So we didn't even max it out for this season to get a lot of legendary nodes. We have this intelligence over here. We have this intelligence here. We have this intelligence here. We'll be able to get in season 6. So there's a bunch of damage you can add right over there to that glyph in season 6. Otherwise, that is the board you'll be using for season 5 and how to convert that board in season 6. Lastly, our last board will be using the glyph Canny, and this will be on, where is it? This is on the Edge Ridge Bounty board. So this is how it will look for season 5. And I forget which board this is for season 6. You're not going to have too many more points. Also for season 6, you'll be filling in your starter board for the maximum life. At this point, with all the recommendations I already gave you, you could pick up a little bit extra maximum life over there, and you really shouldn't have many more points. So yeah, that's about it. You might have a point or two left over at that point. Just put it in anything else that you can get. And that's my rogue. I think I covered everything, but if I did forget something, just ask and I'll try to let you know when I can. Other than that, this is a super powerful build you can do right now in Season 5 that should be just as viable, if not just as viable, with higher defense in Season 6. If you liked the video, leave a like, comment, share. It helps others find the video. I hope this helped.